Well, hey there. Oh, welcome to Paw Chronicles and More with Jim. Well, today what I'm going to do is graft on this little tree here. This is the more part. This right here is a persimmons that I started from seed last year. And it's pushing close to about 4.5 foot tall. So we got some good energy going on here. And what I'm going to do is break my snips out. Now, mind you, everything I have here in my toolbox has been sterilized. I try to stay on top of sterilization because I don't know when I'm going to use them. Get rid of this little bit here, or snid bit. Actually, let me utilize this. Now, I've never really gotten into grafting persimmons. This is really my first time grafting them. I grafted a couple last year in July, and what I want to do is try to get this done. And I have Scion right here. It's in a cooler with water, cold bottles of water to keep it cool. Excuse me, I needed a drink. The Scion I got came from Cliff, England, from England's nursery and orchard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it all out here. And I'm going to find me a piece of Scion that's going to match up pretty good with this stick. I love the size of this stick. I think I can get a tongue and whip off on that. Let's see. I've got Cassandra, Nikita's gift number 4. H118, I'm going to have to ask Cliff about that. I think that might be early Jewel. I'll find out from him to be more certain. I've got Cardinal here. And I've got Victor Derviyanko. And I've got a lot more Scion wood with that than I do the others. Well, I think I'll save that for out back because I've got some top working I want to do. I'm looking at all the Scion that I have. You know what? Looks like we may have a pretty good match right here. Yeah, got some good bud there. And what I'm going to do is I'm only going to use 2 bud. And I'm going to come up here. I think it gives me the opportunity to get something a little bit bigger. I don't want to go up that high. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. It looks like a good tongue and whip scenario for me. I'm more familiar with that. Let's go ahead and grab this piece of Scion right here. You got 2 buds I'm looking at. Turn that clip around. Nice and green. And we're going to put this right back into the bag. Oop, not that one, this one. Close the box up. The sun's starting to come out. Take this parafilm off here. One other thing while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to do, although the tools are all sterilized, I want to make sure my hand is sterilized while I'm dealing with these cuts. Take these towelettes from a food service store. They're food service type towels that I soaked in sanitizer. Make sure my hands are good and sanitized. You want to be sanitized whenever you're grafting. I'm sorry, this here may take a little bit longer than I would want to, but it's my first time and I'm a little bit nervous. I will admit to that. And it looks like we'll have a fit roughly about right here. A little bit higher, right about there. And I'm going to come underneath this bud right here to get me to where I want to be. I was really surprised to see these grow that quickly. Them grew quick. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do what I normally do with the pawpaw. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit because I got a little bit of mashing that went on. Man, that is green. I'm going to give it a minute and eyeball it. See if we get a lot of bleeding coming out of there. Just a little bit of moisture, but I don't see anything as far as how bad it's pushing. The ground is extremely dry. We haven't had any rain in a while, and I think that might be a good thing. And I'm going to break out my grafting knife. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. And I'm going to try to do a nice long cut. Try to make it as smooth as possible. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this. Try to do a corresponding cut to it. Cassandra. Let's see if they match. Pretty doggone close. This one here needs to be a little bit longer. Let's see if they're going to match up to each other, where we can say low. little bit of a high spot right there. Nice and gentle. And the same going on right here. Move that back out a little bit. There you have it. Pretty close. Now, I'm just taking that blade and I'm just rocking back and forth, trying to be gentle. Because I can tell already that this is not as forgiving as the pawpaw. The pawpaw, the blade will slide through easier. So it's a harder wood that we're dealing with. And try and line up, make sure I'm in the right spot. Now I got her started. Try to watch what I'm doing here. Boy, that's tight compared to pawpaw. Pawpaw, it'll slide right through there. And I don't want to force it too hard because that's a dangerous thing to do, is to hold that like I am. So I'm just being careful. Now let's back that off. Geez, that was tough. Now, let's see if we can get the two to say hello. And they have. And what I'm going to do is, because it's such a hard wood, I'm going to wrap it with 2 rubber bands. Because I want to squeeze the living daylights out of that. And hopefully this works out. I wish I had bigger rubber bands to do this with. Because I'm going to squeeze the daylights out of that, and I may end up putting another band on there. Thing about the tongue and whip, you get really, really good contact as far as cambium layers, and that's what we're after. Let's get that contact between them layers. And you can see I'm pulling on that pretty hard, and I am going to need another rubber band because I'm going to run out of band, because I want that tight. I'm going to squeeze them 2 pieces together. Like I said, this is the more part. I'm taking my time because I don't want no twisting. I want the rubber bands to remain together. Now I'm going to loop it around. We got a good tight fit there, but I don't have a tight fit down here, so I'm going to do another set of rubber bands, and I'm going to wrap down further, tighten that up. Well, let me get the two together here real quick. Hope you all are being patient with me. You know, we had a pretty bad freeze this early spring, and it knocked back everything. The persimmons I have out back, so far the only flower buds I'm seeing is coming off them male trees back there. I ain't seeing none of the females trying to bud. That trick I just did with the rubber band is what I learned from watching Cliff England doing his grass. And now what I'm going to do is another trick that I've watched Cliff do, and I'm going to be utilizing parafilm to do it. That's a 2" by 2" parafilm laboratory film. And see if I can get it off there. Take the backing off. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab both tag ends. As I said, that's a 2" by 2", and I'm going to pull it just like that. And what I noticed the man does, he'll lay it right on top of the scion, and he'll pull it down where he wants it. And it gives him the ability to work it down here, and then come up here and work it as well. There you have it. Now, let me break out a tag here. I got to tag it. Give me something solid to ride on. Cassandra, 5/28/23. I went ahead and grafted this because it's supposed to be extremely warm this week. We're supposed to get up into the upper 80s and be in the 80s all week this week. I'm just going to tag it right here for right now. I will stick a fence around this. I had a tree tube on it, but I'm going to put a fence around it because I no longer have to worry about hardening off. It's going to harden off because the scion wood would have came from a much older tree. Now, what did I do with that blade? Laid that razor blade down. I'll find it in a sec before I move on to the next one. These little buds, when do you get rid of them? Persimmons, another one of America's native fruits that I decided to go ahead and work with. I've worked with a lot of pawpaws, but very little in persimmons, and I'm just starting the game with persimmons. And as I grow with this, I'll also share. I've got a lot of seedlings out there that I started this year, and it's well over 200 of them. Boy, it would be nice to see them all grow this fast. That'd make it real nice for grafting next year. Incidentally, this right here was planted last year. It was a seed that came out of a piece of fruit that I got from Cliff, and I stopped over at his orchard as a visit, and he gave me the fruit. I saved the fruit, brought it home, and I was able to harvest seed out of that fruit. And I stratified and germinated the seed. The seed germinated last year, and it really grew in this soil. So let's hope it continues to grow the way it is. I got some others here that I'm going to be grafting, one right here behind me, and we'll see what happens with those. Anyways, my name's Jim. If you like what you see, subscribe. Any comments or questions that you may have, I welcome. Don't forget to click on that bell for any notifications. You all have a God bless day.